Myst, Might, Mayhem. By Hanjung Liuya. Chapter 480. The Six Demons. Part 1. Whoosh. A huge, pure white being accompanied by a storm that seemed capable of freezing everything with a single wing beat. It was a great pun larger than one of the peaks of the 10,000 great mountains. The appearance of a being with incomparable vastness to other evil spirits and monsters. This brought another silence of despair. Even with the tremendous majesty of the heavenly demon, they had already been gripped by anxiety due to the countless monsters. Whoosh! Dan Mok In-ho burst into laughter and shouted while looking at the great ping that had descended upon the world, flashing its eerily red eyes, ha 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 ha. The white great ping demon king, one of the six demons who turned the North Sea into a land of cold ice and death, has descended. Realize your own weakness and kneel. Despite this arrogant cry, not a single person refuted. This was because after the appearance of this huge being, the Great Pung, the white Great Ping Demon King, not only had the air turned cold, but the demonic energy that seemed about to overturn everything in all directions was pressing down on them, and people were bleeding here and there, unable to withstand the pressure. Drip. What is this? Nosebleed? BL blood is flowing from the eyes too. Those with weak inner energy levels were already fully affected. Of course, it wasn't different for the masters either. They too were experiencing their inner energy boiling due to the pressure of the demonic energy, like a great sea covering all directions. This energy is unbelievable. The energy emitted by that huge great ping is suffocating. Babuda. This is a calamity. This was no longer a battle between the righteous and evil factions. It was a human-demon war, a great calamity that put the existence of the martial world at stake. A war is something that should be preventable from the start, but can this really be stopped by human power? The six demons. Mok Jayanun's eyes sharpened. The six demons. These beings, called the six kings of evil spirits and monsters, were infinitely close to divine beasts. Among these beings who were just about to transcend the laws of nature, Mok Jayanun had met two. The assassin king of the sea Gu Huan Cheonggu in the secret vault of the Corpse Blood Valley, and the 100-faced King Golden Nine-Tailed Fox in the Imperial Palace. They were all tremendous beings that the Mok Jayanun of that time couldn't even touch a hair of. And these beings hadn't even exerted their proper power. The assassin king of the sea was in a weakened state due to being sealed, and the 100-faced king was in human form and didn't exert proper power, yet both overwhelmed Mok Jayanun. But now, for the first time, he was facing one of the six demons in its complete form. Whoosh! Tremendous demonic energy that made the skin tingle. Cold energy that turned the surrounding area and the 10,000 great mountains into winter in an instant with just a wing beat. The classic of mountains and sea states that a being that has reached the extreme of spirit beasts has touched the edge of natural law and is no different from a natural disaster. The white great ping demon king before them now was precisely such a being. It possessed overwhelming power capable of instantly devastating an entire region alone. At Mok Jayanun's now serious gaze, Dan Mok In-ho, Mok Gon's avatar, sneered and said, "Do you realize it now? Incarnation. That your fate is no different from the humans gathered here, like a candle in the wind." Stab. Before Dan Mok In-ho could finish speaking, Mok Jayanun's finger pierced into the eyeball on his forehead. Kook. As the third eye was grabbed, Dan Mok In-ho convulsed in pain. Mok Jayanun thought it was better to locate the main body first rather than be swayed by the situation he had created. Mok Jayanun tried to grasp the main body's will through the third eye. If there were no more avatars, it would be difficult to deceive any further. The location of the main body is. Could it be? Not far away. Very close. Then his will echoed. There's no need to search. I too am here. His will was felt from the midst of the countless evil spirits and monsters, passing through them. Certainly, there were no more avatars. Flash. Throb. At that moment, along with a strong headache like lightning striking, the will tried to disperse. What on earth is this phenomenon? Unlike before, now that the level of will had increased, he was confident he could find it even if the other tried to resist. But something was blocking it. As he tried to hold on to it to not lose the other's will, crack. The third eyeball he was holding burst. What? Mok Jiangan was puzzled. Having become one with the will of the Demon King and attained a complete personality, he prided himself on surpassing that level even if Mok Gan had lived for a long time. But in the middle, something unknown that surpassed the level of the main body intervened. And that something, though only for an instant, felt very familiar. Mok Jiangan glared with sharpened eyes at the white Great Ping Demon King and the countless evil spirits and monsters behind it. The main body was there. Do I have to cut through them in the end? Xing. Mok Jiangan then drew the demonic sword Evil Commandment sword from its scabbard. The moment he drew the sword, the attention of everyone who had been shrinking from the great calamity unfolding before their eyes turned to him. It was just drawing a sword, but the moment he did so, sharp sword energy surged in all directions, and the cold energy rushing towards the 10,000 great mountains stopped in an instant. The leaders of each faction couldn't help but marvel at this sight. He cut through the Great Pang's energy, pressing down on the surroundings with sword energy. Has that person truly reached the state of being the sword itself? It was the true realm of unity between sword and self. Being able to turn even the surrounding energy into sword energy meant that everything was a sword. Therefore, the leaders of each sect had to acknowledge that he was likely the only one here who could face this being that was no different from a natural disaster. But shudder. At that moment, everyone at the front stepped back in bewilderment. This was because they saw the white Great Ping Demon King raising the corner of its mouth eerily the moment Mok Jiangan drew his sword. Although it was an evil spirit and monster, and its expression should have been hard to read, it was clearly smiling, and an incomprehensibly chilling malice could be felt. It was hard to call it fighting spirit, rather it seemed closer to interest. It was at that very moment. Crack! The white Great Ping Demon King spread its dazzlingly white wings wide. Everyone gasped and had their attention stolen by the wings that simultaneously held beauty and ominousness. Then, as the white Great Ping Demon King flapped its huge, widely spread wings forward, whoosh! With just a few wing beats, a blizzard rushed forward with wind pressure. However, this blizzard did not surge towards the 10,000 great mountains. Rather, the cold energy of the blizzard concentrated right in front of where the wings were flapping, creating a huge sphere with a violently swirling interior. This is impossible. The pupils of Ho Te Gang, the king of destruction, on the highest peak at the very front, trembled. The energy contained in that huge sphere was truly earth-shattering, and even more shocking was that it contained a blizzard and storm. Can this huge Great Ping even condense natural phenomena? Roar! The white Great Ping Demon King raised its beak upwards and roared. With this, the sphere of storm and blizzard that had taken complete form through wing beats then surged towards the 10,000 great mountains, splitting the earth. Boom, 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 boom. The eyes of all those watching this scene became dazed. How on earth could one avoid that? It was literally no different from a natural disaster. It was at that very moment. Swish! Mok Jiangan took a stance of striking downwards while holding the demonic sword Evil Commandment sword upside down. At that moment, something happened that made everyone's eyes widen. Whoa! That is? A sword? An utterly transparent, huge formless sword nearly 30 jang long appeared in the air directly opposite the 10,000 great mountains and pierced into the earth. Boom! Rumble! The ground. With a tremendous roar, soil and sand fragments spurted like erupting lava, and along with this, the mountain peaks at the entrance of the 10,000 great mountains shook greatly as if an earthquake had struck. Simultaneously, the huge sphere of storm and blizzard rushing and collided with the formless sword that had pierced the ground floor, split in half, and the cold energy concentrated inside exploded. Boom, swoosh, 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 swoosh. The explosion of cold energy created multiple rainbow-like layers, freezing even the air in the void. And the aftermath of the explosion that had split in two then collided with both sides of the mountain peaks where the war was taking place, collapsing parts of the peaks and freezing their surroundings. Rumble, boom, 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 boom. Crack, 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 crack. Soil and ice chunks collapsing like an avalanche. Everyone couldn't close their mouths, their faces hardened at this sight. It happened before their eyes, but it was hard to believe. As if immortals from the fairy realm were engaging in battle, a single exchange of attack and defense was collapsing mountains and even changing natural phenomena. This had already surpassed the realm of what they could handle. Roar. Just then, the white great pink demon king let out a roar. Its red eyes drew a crescent moon so eerily, but it was clearly a smile. It seemed to be enjoying this situation. It was a fighting spirit towards Mok Jianyan who had blocked its almighty power. Should we consider this fortunate? The warriors under Mok Jianyan were naturally full of trust in their lord, but the warriors of the Righteous Alliance and Evil Alliance were feeling contradictory and strange emotions. It was a sense of relief that such a monster capable of facing a being like a natural disaster existed among humans, regardless of righteous or evil factions, and a contradictory fear. If this great calamity-like situation hadn't occurred, how would the war have concluded? They didn't even want to imagine. However, the former feeling was stronger now. Mok Jianyan was the only counterforce against that monster akin to a natural disaster. Therefore, although they couldn't voice it, from some point they couldn't help but root for Mok Jianyan. Poof! At that moment, Mok Jianyan's form split the air like lightning. The heavenly demon has moved. Is he really going to face it head-on? Everyone couldn't help but feel tense and couldn't take their eyes off the front. Whether knowing or not knowing their feelings, Mok Jianyan's gaze was focused solely on finding the white great pink demon king's weakness. I need to hurry. Mok Jianyan thought it was meaningless to exchange attacks with it from afar. It was clear that if he didn't deal with it quickly, greater damage would occur. However, Mok Jianyan, who was flying his form, had to stop midway. Flinch! Mok Jianyan, who had turned his form, then sensed something and swung Evil Commandment sword in that direction. Then, another huge formless sword appeared and extended upwards. Whoosh! Whoosh! Simultaneously, a huge pillar of fire with intense heat extended upwards and then collided with the formless sword, splitting. After splitting the pillar of fire, the ground turned black from the heat, and then it collided with the white great pink demon king's cold energy. Hiss! Hazy steam shot up into the sky, then obscured the sun and darkened the earth. Then heavy rain poured down from the thick dark clouds like a downpour. Swoosh! It was a rain so heavy it was difficult to open one's eyes. Everyone couldn't help but stick out their tongues at the disasters occurring with each collision. Then the earth began to rumble loudly. Thud. 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 A huge shadow was seen from the direction where the pillar of fire had flown in. It had a gigantic body nearly 100 jane tall, and despite the rain, it had a golden mane fluttering, a tiger-like head, and a tail that seemed to be woven with hundreds of blades. Seeing this, Mok Jianyan could immediately tell what this being was. The lion-grasping king. Another of the 6 demons had revealed itself. As another king of evil spirits and monsters, known to be difficult to gather in one place, descended, the advancing evil spirits and monsters bowed their heads as if showing reverence. As expected, he had assumed the worst since the white great pink demon king, one of the 6 demons, had descended. But that wasn't the end. Boom! Rumble! Boom! Rumble! This can't be. The eyes of everyone watching the front widened as if about to tear. From the northwest direction, a shadow even more gigantic than a mountain peak was walking towards this place. It was so huge and heavy that with each step, earthquakes occurred, shaking the mountain peaks, and some even collapsed, causing landslides. Rumble. However, these avalanche-like phenomena were already of no concern to anyone. That. What on earth is that? Is it a devil risen from hell? Two sharp horns stood out as if recalling a great devil risen from the Avicii hell, known as the deepest of the 8 hot hells. Steam flowing from its flaring nostrils obscured its face like fog. Boom! As it took one step, flames erupted from the splitting ground. Geothermal heat was rising, unable to withstand. This huge evil spirit and monster with 2 horns, which appeared last, was already overwhelming the 2 6 demons that had appeared earlier with just its presence. Grip! Mok Jiangnan's hand holding the demonic sword evil commandment sword tightened. After learning about the 6 demons, there was something he had read in an old book in the Primal Killing Pavilion. Long ago, there was a huge ox-shaped evil spirit and monster born from tens of thousands of years of earth energy twisting, and its power shook heaven and earth, so numerous immortals sealed that being through great sacrifice. The immortals called this evil spirit and monster the Great Strength King because it possessed the highest power that was difficult to break, but the author of the old book called it this, the Great Sage who levels the heavens, the Ox Demon King. Chapter 481. The 6 Demons. Part 2. Great Sage who levels the heavens, Ox Demon King. That was the being said to overwhelm all 6 demons with strength alone. It was clearly visible to Mok Jiannun's eyes, which had opened their pupil power. The Ox Demon King's vast demonic energy, beyond imagination, enveloped the entire visible area in red light. Although the other 2 demons also possessed formidable power that was difficult to approach, the Ox Demon King surpassed even them. Kwang. Warararik. With each step the Ox Demon King took, geothermal heat rose and flames erupted. It was truly a moving inferno. Quack. Mok Jiannun's hand gripped the blade of the demonic sword evil commandment sword tightly. 10,000 great mountains was as silent as everyone thought. Countless evil spirits and 3 disaster-level spirit beasts capable of destroying an entire country. In this situation, it would be strange not to feel despair. We cannot face them. We must retreat. Gu Qiolja, the leader of the Huashan sect, spoke with a voice filled with fear. He had already judged that the aura emanating from those 3 giant monsters was beyond human capability. It seemed like they would be crushed without a trace with just a wave of the hand from that horned devil-like monster that appeared last. But where can we retreat to from here? If we leave those things be? Hong Wonsuk, the leader of the Beggars sect, imagined the horrific consequences that would unfold. If those creatures ran amok, the Central Plains would truly face destruction. This was already a natural disaster. Who could stop those things that even they, the martial artists, couldn't handle? Do you think we can do anything by fighting? Gu Qiolja, the leader of the Huashan sect, had already lost all will to fight. However, no one could blame him. None of those present were thinking of fighting those monsters anymore. Everyone just wanted to run away right now. Of course, not everyone felt that way. Even in despair, some were conflicted. One of them was Mok Yuqion. If even the righteous martial artists who uphold justice and chivalry turn their backs and flee from them, who will stop those things? Pararuru. Mok Yuqion looked at his trembling legs. He too was afraid of those overwhelmingly monstrous beings. Even without comparing their powers, if they were to fight, a miserable annihilation was certain. However, if the righteous martial artists who sought to uphold chivalry couldn't overcome their fear and ran away, wouldn't that truly be the most shameful moment? Quack. Mok Yuqion bit his own hand. It hurt because he bit hard enough to draw blood. But his mind cleared, and the trembling subsided more than before. Pack. Mok Yuqion stood up and drew his sword with eyes full of determination. Wangbo Song, the head of the Wangbo clan who had been dazed with fear, looked at him curiously. What are you trying to do, Junior? I'm going to fight. What? Fight those things? As he looked bewildered, Mok Yuqion wrapped his right hand holding the sword with cloth. He was expressing his will to never let go of the sword even if he died. Everyone around him thought it was reckless. However, Mok Yuqion didn't care about this. I thought I was unlucky. I dreamed of being a righteous warrior, but I was held hostage by the Heaven and Earth Society and struggled to survive. I resented the heavens because everything was beyond my control. What on earth are you trying to say? Quack. Mok Yucheon firmly secured the cloth and continued speaking. But I don't think that's the case. I was foolish. Justice doesn't come from belonging somewhere, and chivalry isn't determined by circumstances. Even if it becomes a miserable death, even if no one acknowledges its value, if I can have an upright heart and the courage to not back down in the face of fear, that is chivalry and justice. At these words from Mok Yucheon, the eyes of the leaders and warriors of the various righteous sects wavered. As the alliance was formed and they became accustomed to collective power and inertia, they had forgotten why they had walked the path of righteousness and what they had aspired to. Geobiog. Mok Yucheon's back trembled as he walked forward. He was afraid. However, he was gathering courage without succumbing to that fear. Seeing him like this, Quack. Hung Won-suk, the leader of the beggar's sect, bit his lip tightly and then wrapped cloth around his hand, holding the beggar's staff as he walked to his side. As the one who had doubted him to the end stood beside him, Mok Yucheon looked at him curiously. Then, the beggar sect leader Hung Won-suk spoke as he tied the cloth. Junior warrior is right. What makes someone a warrior of justice? It's one who can stand up for the powerless people and everyone else. I'm ashamed, but I agree. At that moment, Wangbo Song, the head of the Wangbo clan, also chimed in as he walked over. He too was wrapping his sword and hand with cloth, as if affirming his resolve. It wasn't just them. Geobiog. All the warriors of the Righteous Alliance around them were tying their weapons and hands with cloth, strengthening their resolve to resist. Seeing them like this, Mok Yucheon's eyes reddened. He had decided to stop the monsters, but he didn't think he would influence anyone. But when he realized that his small act of courage had caused ripples in everyone, he couldn't help but feel his heart pounding. I was born for this moment. Now that he had finally awakened to himself, there was no hesitation in Mok Yucheon's eyes. That gaze was the very embodiment of the upright warrior he had dreamed of being since childhood. Mok Yucheon raised his sword and shouted, "Let's fight to the end." At his cry, the leader of the beggar sect, the head of the Wangbo clan, the leader of the Huashan sect, and the surrounding Righteous Alliance warriors all shouted in unison. "Let's fight to the end." Wah! Their cries echoed through the 10,000 great mountains, which had been engulfed in silence. Seeing them like this, the corners of Li Jiom's mouth, the master of Corpse Blood Valley, turned upwards. That junior warrior had ignited a fire in the righteous sect members in the face of the hell-like despair unfolding before their eyes. Yes. This was the true terror of the righteous sect members he knew. This influence wasn't spreading only to the righteous sect members. Even the former Heaven and Earth Society warriors, who had been shrinking in despair despite having Mok Jiangyun as their lord and focal point, shouted that they couldn't lose. "This is our territory. Don't retreat even a single step. Let's fight." Behind them was the castle of Heaven and Earth Society, and all their families were there. If they couldn't defend this place to the end, they would lose everything. That's why they couldn't back down. Damn it. Can we lose to those things? It was the same for the Evil Alliance warriors. Although they had lost their leader, the first Alliance leader Wild Beast Emperor Hang Sim, the Evil Alliance warriors inherently hated losing. And the resolve and solemnity contained in the cries of the former Heaven and Earth Society warriors and Righteous Alliance warriors couldn't help but influence them. So they too shouted no less loudly. Wah wah. The shouts spreading throughout the 10,000 great mountains. This was rapidly refreshing the atmosphere that had been gripped by despair, fear, and terror. Seeing them like this, the man in the bamboo hat watching from afar in the darkness sneered. "You embrace futile hope. Foolish things. Suk." The man in the bamboo hat raised his staff inlaid with red jade. Then the red jade emitted a red light, and experienced true despair. Goo. At the same time as the red light intensified, the three demons' red eyes grew darker, and they simultaneously opened their mouths and let out a roar filled with demonic energy. At that moment, the demonic energies of the roars mixed together at the center where the three demons were standing, creating a whirlwind, and then it rushed towards the 10,000 great mountains as a gale. The tremendous gale rushing in seemed poised to completely destroy the entire 10,000 great mountains. Everyone who had been shouting and strengthening their resolve and fighting spirit just moments ago gritted their teeth in fear at the approaching gale. That's when Mok Jiangun flew his body into the center of the gale and swung the demonic sword Evil Commandment Sword. A huge formless sword appeared and collided with the rushing gale. Mok Jiangun tried to cut it down in one go, but the wind pressure that had explosively increased as the demonic energies of the three demons mixed together was truly overwhelming. Unable to cut through the gale, the formless sword was being pushed back bit by bit, crushing the earth. Everyone watched this scene with bated breath. No. Please. If he couldn't block this here, everything would crumble in one go. At that moment, the three demons roared once more in unison. As the gale intensified and grew even larger, the huge formless sword could no longer withstand it and was about to be completely pushed back. At this, Mok Jiangun's gaze sharpened like a sword, and the blade of the demonic sword Evil Commandment Sword was about to turn black. It was at that very moment. Just then, about 10 whirlwinds of wind pressure rushed in from the western side where the two forces were colliding, and they penetrated between the formless sword that was about to collapse and the gale, pushing it towards the east. Thanks to this, an area of about 200 jang on the ground where the tremendous aftermath was pushed back was instantly devastated. What? What was that just now? Everyone's gaze turned towards the direction where the whirlwinds had appeared. Those who looked in that direction had their eyes widened. Shoo! Who are those guys? What's with their bodies, all of them? On the eastern side stood 8 men with enormous muscular builds, their entire bodies blackened and emitting steam. Each of them had an extraordinary appearance. The corners of Mok Jiangun's mouth turned upwards as he spotted someone standing in the center like their leader. It was Yumujin of the Yu clan. Quang. Yumujin clashed his two fists together and spoke with a voice full of fighting spirit. I'll show you the great price of gathering all the scattered Yu clan members in one place. They were the Yu clan members. The man in the bamboo hat holding the red jade staff was dumbfounded at their appearance. There weren't just 2. He had thought that the 2 guarding the seal were all that remained of the Yu clan. But to think there were 8 more of these monstrous clan members. The man in the bamboo hat clicked his tongue as if he found it absurd, then sneered. It doesn't matter. Nothing changes just because. Just then, a vibration was felt from the northeast direction. It sounded like horse hooves, and a shout erupted from one side of the 10,000 great mountains. Wah! Those shouting were none other than the Evil Alliance. That was because a large force of about 10,000 men on horseback was approaching from the northeast, with the Evil Alliance flag fluttering at the front. They were the rear guard led by the Second Alliance Lord Indestructible Golden Body Heyokwon. They've come. It was Mok Jiangun who spotted familiar faces riding horses at the front. They were Blood Saint Dam Bekha from 9 Blood Cult and Jin Yurin, the 6 office's commander. Dam Bekha, who was riding her horse alongside Jin Yurin, stuck out her tongue at the sight of the 3 enormous demons and the countless evil spirits. So another great calamity has indeed occurred. She was the last generation of the old Murim who had experienced the first great calamity. That's why this scene wasn't unfamiliar to her. I'm sorry for making you come to this deathly place with me. No, it's rather fortunate. Unlike with young Master Mok, we didn't miss each other this time. She had returned to the Evil Alliance after missing Mok Jiangun while trying to warn him of the crisis on Jin Yurin's orders. Then she had encountered and joined Jin Yurin and the Evil Alliance's rear guard who were heading south. Pachik. Pachik. Blood Saint Dam Bekha generated lightning in both hands as she spoke. This time, we will definitely protect it. She was determined not to let the past repeat itself. The main body of Mok Gon, or rather the man in the bamboo hat, sneered as he watched the evil alliance's rear guard rushing in like this. Yes. They're all rushing to their deaths. Nothing will change just because a few more insects have increased. Yuuyuing. It was at that moment. About 50 jang away from the front of the 10,000 great mountains, smoke rose from various places, then curved round to form gates. And as the space of those gates rippled, numerous diviners appeared from beyond them. Hundreds of diviners were pouring out of each entrance. Their number reached nearly 800. At the forefront stood Yeo Surin, a disciple of the harmonious immortal pavilion, holding a golden wheel and a large brush. So many of those diviner bastards were still left? He had thought he'd dealt with all of them that he could see. Humchit. Paong. Just then, bursting through the dark clouds covering the 10,000 great mountains, an enormous evil spirit with the upper body of a horned tiger and the lower body covered in brown scales like a dragon appeared. What? What is this? The suddenly appearing evil spirit was so bizarre that it startled even those in the 10,000 great mountains. The main body of Mok Gon frowned and spoke at the appearance of this evil spirit. The spirit beast Tai? Having mastered the art of divination and read most existing ancient books, he immediately recognized this bizarrely shaped evil spirit. It was Tai, the spirit beast of Mount Jiao. On Tai's back were two figures dressed as diviners. One of them was the betrayer Grand Divination Master Myong Riel, whom he thought was dead, and the other was Divine Diviner On Gong Yun. Along with Grand Divination Master Myong Riel, it was On Gong Yun, the master of the Song Ancestral Pavilion, one of the 6 divine diviners known to be the only ones to have made spirit beasts their familiars. You dare! He was already aware that Grand Divination Master Myong Riel had betrayed him. But not content with just that, to think he had even drawn in one of the 6 divine diviners. As their allies continued to appear one after another, Mok Gon's lips twitched, then, kuhahahahahaha. He burst into maniacal laughter instead. He thought all of this was rather fortunate. From the beginning, all of these were targets that needed to be dealt with, and even if there were more, nothing would change. Just one of the 6 demons could destroy an entire country. Yet there were 3 of the 6 demons here, and among them was even the Great Strength King, said to be the strongest. The result won't change no matter how many more insects gather. They're just squirming at best. While we're at it, in one fell swoop. Humchit. At that moment, the third eye of Mok Gon's main body trembled. What is this? He could sense an ominously vast demonic energy coming from somewhere. And then, as if breaking free from control, the Great Strength King suddenly roared on its own. Kuyoyoyoyo. It was as if expressing intense anger towards something. Along with the roar, a tremendous gale whirled and rushed towards the 10,000 great mountains. Quack-quack-quack-quack-quack-quack-quack-quack. Although it was a roar containing the demonic energy of just one demon, its power was not much different from when the 3 demons had combined, showing an incredible force. But as the roaring gale rushed forward, it was split by a golden beam of light falling from the sky. Chwaya! What on earth is happening? As he wondered, someone appeared in the sky where the golden beam of light had struck. The being was a woman of unparalleled beauty with luscious golden hair and 9 tails fluttering behind her. Seeing this, the main body of Mok Gon muttered in disbelief. The Hundred-Faced King? Chapter 482. The 6 Demons. Part 3. Not just 3, but 4 of the 6 demons? This seems beyond the contract. On Gong Yun, one of the 6 divine diviners and the master of the Song Ancestral Pavilion, expressed his dissatisfaction as he looked at the back of the woman with 9 golden tails swaying gently. At his words, Grand Divination Master Myong Riel, another of the 6 divine diviners beside him, was equally bewildered. The Hundred-Faced King? What on earth is going on? The Hundred-Faced King, Golden 9-Tailed Fox. Among the 6 demons, it is the oldest and in some sense considered even worse than the Great Strength King, known to be the strongest in power. That being is the embodiment of ominousness and malice itself, leading everything to destruction. Juraruk. Grand Divination Master Myanriel broke out in a cold sweat. Due to Chongrang's anger, he had met his death with his jaw torn off and both arms severed. However, thanks to the soul transfer technique that activated by chance, his soul was able to move to a body he had prepared in advance, allowing him to cling to life. It worked. Ha 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 ha. The soul transfer technique was close to incomplete, so the risk was great. Since the technique only activates when the user dies, who would rashly choose death? But the technique succeeded. At first, he was going to go into hiding. After all, if everyone thought he was dead, there was no need to show himself. But then a problem arose. He thought he had completely lifted Mokgon's prohibition, but that prohibition had affected even his soul. As a result, even though he had performed the soul transfer technique, he could not see. Was it because of that bastard? When the reason for his blindness became clear, he felt despair and great anger. He had thought that if he ever succeeded with the soul transfer technique, he would be able to see again and completely break free from that bastard, but all of that had been thwarted. If I don't kill that bastard, I'll never be able to break free from this shackle. That's why he had come to the 10,000 Great Mountains, which would be the starting point and final battleground of the Great Calamity. However, the Great Calamity exceeded all the categories he had anticipated. 4 of the 6 demons, each said to be capable of destroying a country on their own, had gathered in this place. This was tantamount to entering the epicenter of a natural disaster that could wipe out not just one country, but the entire Central Plains continent. Forget the contract, 4 of the 6 demons have gathered. Do you see any escape hole, Masterin? Humph. Looks like we'll pay a heavy price for just one technique. With those words, Divine Diviner on Gongyan began to form hand seals with his right hand while pulling out talismans with his left. At least that one seems the most manageable. On Gongyan's gaze turned towards the lion-grasping king with golden mane, the smallest in stature among the 6 demons. Kuyoyoyoyo. As if enraged by the power of the 100-faced king golden nine-tailed fox, who had instantly nullified the gale of his roar, the great strength King Ox Demon King let out an angry roar. At the thunderous roar that shook heaven and earth, the golden nine-tailed fox sneered. Still the same. So noisy. With that, the golden nine-tailed fox slowly flew to Mok Jiangun's side, her 9 tails swaying gently. Looking at Mok Jiangun, the golden nine-tailed fox was inwardly amazed. She had been in the imperial palace, but through the fluctuations of demonic energy in the energy of heaven and earth, she could sense the awakening of the 6 demons. Thus, she predicted that the continent would soon be dyed in blood. I came wondering what great mischief they would cause with 3 of the 6 demons gathered in one place, but you were here. She had made an accessory imbued with her demonic energy and given it to Mok Jiangun. Thanks to that, she could always know his location no matter where he was. But she was surprised. When they met at the imperial palace in Kaifeng, Mok Jiangun's power was merely interesting. He was quite strong, but still no more than human. Yet in just a few months, he had completely changed. What happened to you in the meantime? The golden nine-tailed fox asked as she approached Mok Jiangun's side with a broad smile. At her question, Mok Jiangun opened his mouth while staring ahead without looking at her. What are you here for? When she first appeared, Mok Jiangun had held some hope. However, after seeing her block the Ox Demon King's roar, he could be certain she was not related to Mok Gon. To Mok Jiangun's question, the golden nine-tailed fox licked her upper lip with her tongue and answered. Do you know what's the most interesting thing in the world? Watching fires and fights. And nothing is as intriguing as a world turned into a sea of blood and pandemonium. What a pointless reason. If that's the case, step back. Your aura has changed a bit. Not just his power, but something was different from before. Even then, she had been interested in his ferocity hidden within, despite being suppressed by overwhelming power and refusing to submit. But now, she couldn't sense that incompleteness or ferocity from back then. Rather, he seemed relaxed yet flawless. Interesting. She knew that humans' potential to accept all energies was beyond that of evil spirits. However, there's a limit to one's innate capacity, so the end of growth is predetermined. That's why she thought no human would ever reach the stronghold of evil spirits. But seems the prophecy wasn't wrong. Or was my eye accurate? Just leave. I don't have time to idly tack. Before Mok Jayangan could finish speaking, she clung to his arm and rubbed her cheek against it, saying, That's too disappointing, heavenly demon. I came out because I was worried you might be in danger. Danger? Yes. No matter how much stronger you've become, that one's a bit out of spec, you know. The golden nine-tailed fox's gaze turned towards the great strength King Ox Demon King, who stood like a great demon from hell, glaring at them with red eyes. She didn't acknowledge all of the 6 demons equally. Long ago, there were only 3 monsters that could contend with the ancient sages. One of them disappeared from this world, transcending the natural order, but the only monster that could truly rival her was that Ox Demon King. Sook. The golden nine-tailed fox touched the tip of her finger to Mok Jayangan's cheek and whispered, This body will somehow block that for the man who will become my husband. In exchange, if you survive here, let's continue that hot night from before. I told you I'm not interested. But I'm very interested. In your body, and in that rapidly increasing power of yours. The golden nine-tailed fox's golden eyes were rippling with competitive spirit. Mok Jayangan realized that she wasn't simply teasing him. She wanted to confirm his power. Kuyoyoyoyo. Just then, the great strength King Ox Demon King let out a roar and then took a step forward. Kwaong. Wararek. The earth split and flames erupted. Seeing this, the corners of the golden nine-tailed fox's mouth turned up coldly. Looks like you're very angry. But what to do? I don't like it when someone eyes what's mine, great strength king. Goo. No sooner had those words ended than her body rose into the air and began to emit a dazzling golden light. The golden light gradually grew larger, taking on the shape of a beast. It was a golden fox with 9 tails. As the true form of the 100-faced king golden nine-tailed fox was revealed, an ominously chilling demonic energy spread in all directions, causing the diviners to be unable to hide their bewilderment. The golden nine-tailed fox? How on earth? Senior, calm down. The golden nine-tailed fox was just talking with Lord Mok. I don't know why, but it seems to be on our side in this situation. At Yeo Surin's words, her senior turned pale. Talk sense. It's a great demon that has destroyed countless countries since ancient times among the 6 demons. How could it possibly be for humans? Kwang. 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 Before those words could finish, the now enormous golden nine-tailed fox charged forward and collided head-on with the great strength king, who was even larger than a mountain peak. Kwaang. The impact sent tremendous wind pressure in all directions. That wasn't the end of it. The golden nine-tailed fox's 9 tails moved to bind the Ox Demon King's arms and legs, trying to push him back. However, the Ox Demon King was the 6th demon known as the strongest in terms of pure strength. Despite having both arms and legs bound, as if finding it laughable, his entire body's muscles bulged, and he tried to forcibly tear off the 9 tails. Pudududududujiak. But as if predicting this, quack. The golden nine-tailed fox stood upright, grabbed the Ox Demon King's jaw and upper lip, forcibly prying them open, and then, chwa-waya. She blasted a golden beam filled with tremendous demonic energy into his mouth. As the beam penetrated his body, as if taking damage. Kio-kio-kia-kiak. Quack-quack-quack-quack-quack-quack-quack-quang. The earth shook, huge debris and dust shot upwards, and the Ox Demon King's body was pushed back. The diviner's eyes widened at this sight. Is it really true that this 100-faced king golden nine-tailed fox is on their side? Yeo Surin Sr. swallowed hard. These 6 demons are close to natural disasters, capable of shattering and transforming the earth just by colliding. But if one of them was their ally, the situation might not be so bad. Then let's do it too. Your role is important. Of course. That's why I brought this, even risking expulsion. Yeo Suren held up the golden wheel she was holding. It was the 1,000 Transformations golden wheel, the great divine tool of divine diviner Red Eyebrow Old Immortal, the master of the harmonious immortal pavilion. Though now called a great divine tool, the diviners of the harmonious immortal pavilion knew that it was once called a divine artifact or treasure during the time of the 3 sovereigns and 5 emperors in ancient times. Begin. Yes. Yeo Suren looked at the other 2 6 demons, the lion-grasping king and the white great pink demon king, then focused on the white great pink demon king. It was the monstrous perpetrator of the tragedy that had massacred all the monks of Great Yen Temple, including Master Gakwan, one of the 6 divine diviners and an old friend of her master. Chuck. She inserted the large brush she was holding between the 1,000 Transformations golden wheel and began to rotate it. Chwerururururu. At first, it rotated by her strength, but soon it began to spin rapidly on its own. As she chanted the spell, the fiercely rotating golden wheel suddenly began to grow larger. As the golden wheel expanded, the white great pink demon king, seemingly having noticed it, spread its 2 wings wide and began to flap them. Swa Aowa. A blizzard of frost whirled up, creating a gale. As if that wasn't enough. Yuduk. Yuduk. Hyuk. Hyuk. Weaker diviners, as if caught by the white great pink demon king's demonic energy, had their blood vessels bulge all over their bodies before. Their heads exploded one after another. Quaduk. Quaduk. It's using demonic energy to perform the text transfer technique. Use the heavenly horse borrowing power technique. Cha-cha-cha-cha-cack. At the senior's shout, the diviners formed hand seals. Light flowed from their bodies, making them shimmer all over. Along with this, something seemed to collide with the light, creating crackling blue sparks. Though they had blocked the rampage caused by demonic energy this way, the icy gale blown by the white great pink demon king was too powerful for them to withstand, when, Kwang. Something appeared, creating tremendous gusts of wind that blocked the icy gale. Huh? Who are you? We don't know what you're trying to do, but you're diviners, right? Our clan will protect you. They were the members of the Yu clan, including Yu Mujin. The Yu clan members' skin was black, with their muscles bulged to the maximum, and steam was emitting from their entire bodies. The diviners couldn't help but admire their incredible innate strength, which wasn't even martial arts. Now's our chance. Surin. Chuck. 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 At her senior's shout, Yeo Surin put her hands together to form the inner lion seal. Then she hurled the fiercely rotating, now enormous golden wheel towards the white great pink demon king. Paong. Sensing the massive immortal energy contained in the approaching golden wheel, the white great pink demon king flapped its wings, trying to fly upwards. Peelreek. Peelreek. But at that moment, the golden wheel split into 108 pieces. Then, these 108 wheels, like valiant warriors forming a battle formation, tried to trap the white great pink demon king. However, the white great pink demon king instantly emitted tremendous cold energy, freezing the wheels. Geok. At that moment, all the diviners formed hand seals simultaneously. Byong. 2. Yil. Jean. It was the hand seal of the 9 characters living law. The nearly 800 of them performed a spell. It was the 4 peaks linking chain technique. Paya. Thousands of pillars struck down on top of the white great pink demon king's head. Kung. 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 As the pillars struck down, the white great pink demon king tried to destroy them all with force by flapping its small wings. At that moment, Yeo Surin Sr. grasped the ornate divine tools on both arms and chanted a spell. Guo. Then, breaking through the dark clouds, a massive heavenly king gate with a large demon face attached fell from the sky, pressing down on the wing-flapping white great ping demon king. Kwaong! Cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-cha-chang! Simultaneously, the 108 frozen wheels came back to life, emitting intense light. The revived 108 wheels once again formed a formation, completely blocking the area around the white great ping demon king. The white great ping demon king, pressed down by the heavenly king gate, raised its head and opened its mouth to spew forth icy demonic energy. Chua! It shot out from another wheel, striking the white great ping demon king's back. Quioyoyo. Enraged at being hit by its own attack, the white great ping demon king emitted tremendous demonic energy, causing the wheels surrounding it to shake and start to be pushed back. Not enough power. Yeo Surin was chanting spells non-stop, but blood began to flow from her eyes and nose. At that moment, Yu Mu Jin and the Yu clan members, who had somehow flown above the white great ping demon king, interlocked their hands and spun their bodies, diving towards the white great ping demon king's head. Quack-quack-quack-quang. Thanks to this, the white great ping demon king's head was forced down, slamming into the ground. While they were fighting hard like this, the remaining 6 demon, the lion-grasping king, was also facing off against the 2 divine diviners who controlled spirit beasts and over 10,000 experts from the evil alliance. Yuru quang quang quang. A woman rose into the sky and raised her sword upwards. Thunder and lightning struck from the cloud-covered sky, enveloping her entire body in electric currents. Pachichichichichik. She was Jin Yurin, the descendant of the world's greatest sword. Chapter 483. The 6 Demons. Part 4. The signal to begin the battle against the lion-grasping king, one of the remaining 6 demons, was given by Grand Divination Master Mayan Riel and Divine Diviner On Ganyan, the master of the Song Ancestral Pavilion. Shuuu. As the evil spirit with the upper body of a horned tiger and the lower body covered in brown dragon scales hurled a sphere of purple poisonous mist, the lion-grasping king dodged it with agile movements that didn't match its huge body. Pong! 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 Quadatatatatata. Not content with just that, the lion-grasping king charged quickly towards them, moving back and forth in a shaped pattern. It's coming. I know. Facing the approaching lion-grasping king, the 2 divine diviners, Grand Divination Master Mayan Riel and On Ganyan, put their hands together to form the Vaisravana seal and simultaneously chanted a spell. The Heavenly Horse Borrowing Power Technique. The Art of Earth Collapse Containment Realm 1. Quack 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 quack. The moment the vast spiritual power of the 2 divine diviner level practitioners, known as the pinnacle of current diviners, interlocked to create a spell formation, the ground around the lion-grasping king instantly collapsed with an explosion. It wasn't just a technique to make the ground collapse and sink. Hirurururu. Stone hands emerged from the collapsing ground, trying to grab the lion-grasping king's hind legs and tail to pull it down. Kwaong. In response, orbs of demonic energy poured out of the lion-grasping king's mouth in rapid succession, instantly destroying the stone hands. Quack-quack-quack-quack-quacka. With the grabbing hands gone, the lion-grasping king leaped up at an incredible speed, riding the continuously collapsing debris. Damn it! It's not working at all. As the 2 divine diviners clicked their tongues in frustration and prepared their next technique, it was at that moment. Pat. 2 experts at the transformation realm level suddenly sprang up like lightning in front of the lion-grasping king, which had finally surged upwards from the collapsing ground. Kuhi. You monster. I'll show you the power of the blood progression golden body. Shuuu. There was a large man with his entire body glowing red, displaying the blood progression golden body technique. It was He Yokwon, the second alliance lord of the evil alliance. Pachichichi. And beside him, unleashing the ultimate technique of the blood jade hand imbued with red lightning, was Dam Bekha, the blood saint of 9 blood cult. Red blood golden body undefeated fist. Blood jade hand thunder skybreaking strength. The ultimate techniques of the two, going all out from the start, perfectly struck the forehead of the lion-grasping king as it surged upwards. Pack. However, the title of 6 demons wasn't given to these evil spirits for nothing. The lion-grasping king, not minding this at all, slightly pulled its head back and then knocked the 2 transformation realm experts away just by flicking its head forward. Pang! Kiok! AK! Second Alliance Lord. Blood Saint Dam. The flying experts were caught by Yujiang, the 5th Alliance Lord Azura Slaughterblade of the Evil Alliance, and Bupayan Suk, the 8th Alliance Lord Interweaving Fist. Heek! Paong! It seemed like a light flick, but the lion-grasping king's demonic energy was so strong that even those who caught the 2 experts couldn't withstand the force and were sent flying as well. Degrudak! Meanwhile, about 1,000 mounted archers from the Evil Alliance's rear guard aimed their bows at the lion-grasping king while riding their horses. Fire! Quack-quack-quack-quack-quack-quack-quack-quack-sha. The lion-grasping king sneered at the rain of arrows imbued with inner energy and struck the ground with its hand. Quang! Pachachaka-chachakang. With a strong gust of wind, the arrows were deflected. This is crazy. Nothing's working at all. The surprised mounted units hurriedly pulled their horses' reins, trying to change direction and create distance. However, the lion-grasping king wasn't about to let them go. The lion-grasping king's golden mane suddenly swelled up, and the hairs of its mane extended towards the fleeing mounted units and the Evil Alliance warriors trying to surround it. Quack-quack-quack-quack-quack-quack-quack-sha. From afar, they might have looked like just stiffened hair, but their size was no different from spears. As thousands of golden spears flew at an incredible speed, the 1,000 mounted archers had no time to dodge and were swept away in an instant. Where the lion-grasping king's hair spears passed, only blood and chunks of flesh remained. No. Pat. Hey Yokwon, the 2nd Alliance Lord who had barely stopped, hurriedly flew his body to try and block this. However, no matter how much of an expert he was at the transformation realm, it was impossible for him to cross the space and block it. But at the perfect moment, Yuuang! A huge, faintly glowing, opaque semicircular wall appeared in the sky above the warriors, blocking the hair spears that were flying like a torrential rain. Pashachakakkkkkking. The 2 divine diviners were performing the guardian barrier technique atop the spirit beast toy in the sky. It was a scale unimaginable for ordinary diviners, but possible because the 2 divine diviners had come together. However, as if waiting for this moment, Kuuk! Quang! The lion-grasping king, with its hind leg muscles bulging immensely, leaped up, trying to tear apart the spirit beast toy along with them in one go with its front paws. Damn it! It was at that very moment. Quack-quackwing. Was it a stroke of heavenly luck? Lightning struck from the sky, and coincidentally, the lion-grasping king was hit and fell. Pachachichichichik. Quioioio. The lion-grasping king, which hadn't been affected at all by Dam Bekha's lightning, let out a roar of pain, as if the power of the naturally striking lightning was tremendous. Then the lion-grasping king glared upwards with eyes full of anger. Quang. As a woman rose into the sky and raised her sword upwards, thunder and lightning struck from the cloud-covered sky, enveloping her entire body in electric currents. Pachachichichichik. She was Jin Yurin, the descendant of the world's greatest sword. As Jin Yurin, her entire body died in lightning, swung her sword towards the lion-grasping king. Lightning energy arose from the dark clouds and bolts struck down repeatedly. Quack-quack-quackwang. In response, the lion-grasping king hurriedly leaped to dodge the thunderbolts. As it seemed for the first time that an attack was effective, the Evil Alliance warriors shouted in excitement. That monster is dodging. Wah. This is the power of Heavenly Concealed. Jin Yuren's eyes burned with fighting spirit as she unleashed the tremendous power of lightning. On the way here, she had occasionally opened the secret manual of the Heavenly Concealed Life-Death Sword technique to learn the arrangements left by her ancestor. But when she opened the secret manual, she couldn't hide her bewilderment. She had naturally predicted that the heavenly concealed life-death sword technique would be a more refined version of the original life-death sword technique. But it wasn't. The contents written in the secret manual described a realm of training that seemed impossible for humans to master. How am I supposed to learn this? Moreover, since the secret manual contained not a few passages related to the immortal way, it was extremely abstruse. No matter how intelligent and naturally talented she was, she couldn't understand it at all. However, unable to give up, she kept repeatedly reading the sentences of the secret manual in her mind, trying somehow to master the secret text. Swaya. At that moment, her vision brightened, and she fell into an imaginary world. There, she met her ancestor Jin Wunwei for the first time. If it had been before, she would have resented her ancestor Jin Wunwei, but having learned the truth through the iron cultivation of the evil heart destruction sect, she shed tears endlessly rather than feeling resentment. Her ancestor Jin Wunwei silently embraced and comforted her. After her sorrow had subsided somewhat, as she had met the ancestor of her clan, that is, the elder of her family, they had many conversations. For the first time since her father's passing, she was able to unburden her heart with the mind of a young child. And after finishing their conversation, she formally asked her ancestor Jin Wunwei, "Ancestor, please open the way for me." With her talent alone, there was no way she could master the secret text. However, here she heard shocking words. "You cannot learn the heavenly concealed." Quack-quack-quack-quack-quack-wing. Recalling the memory from that imaginary scene, Jin Yuren swung her sword repeatedly towards the lion-grasping king, which was dodging the falling thunderbolts. Jin Wunwei told her. Regardless of talent, learning the heavenly concealed requires a very long time, and it involves enduring the pain of receiving thousands of lightning strikes on your body. The heavenly concealed was never a power she could master in the first place. Then why on earth did he leave this arrangement? If it's something that can't be learned, isn't it meaningless? But then her ancestor Jin Wunwei said to her, "It will be difficult for a long time, but the secret text I left will serve as a medium connecting you and me in the fuse." A medium? I will perform the energy circulation of the heavenly concealed through the medium on your behalf. I will transmit to you the usage method of the techniques, so you should be able to use the heavenly concealed for at least half a quarter hour, if not longer. That was how she became able to use the heavenly concealed. Jin Wunwei regretted that he couldn't help more than this because the heavenly concealed was a secret technique of the ancient immortals and shouldn't remain in the world. Understanding her ancestor's deep consideration, she was rather grateful to him. Although it was only for a short time, she had gained the power to face the 6 demons, which were called natural disasters. Quang. 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 Once again, the lion-grasping king, dodging the falling lightning with its unique movements, charged towards Jin Yuren at an incredible speed. Its speed was so fast that it was even evading the falling lightning. Pachek! Pachek! Blood flowed from Jin Yuren's eyes. Although the secret text in her bosom was acting as a medium and performing the energy circulation on her behalf, handling the lightning of the heavenly concealed, which she hadn't fully mastered, was painful as the power kept backflowing. This was a side effect that even her ancestor Jin Wunwei hadn't predicted. However, she endured this with extreme patience, trying somehow to properly handle the power of the heavenly concealed. Pachek. Hawk. But due to the pain, she was finally thrown back by the backflowing lightning energy while using the heavenly concealed, and fell towards the ground. The lion-grasping king didn't miss this moment. Kwaong. The lion-grasping king charged towards her as she fell. At that moment, thick tree trunks shot up from the ground like whips, wrapping around the lion-grasping king's 2 legs and body. It was a technique by Grand Divination Master Myonreal and Divine Diviner on Ganyan. Pudududududujik. What? However, as it was a hastily performed technique, the lion-grasping king broke the tree trunks off at the roots and tried to swallow the falling Jin Yuren. Nuo. Young lady. He Yokwan, the second Alliance Lord, and Dam Bekha, the Blood Saint, flew their bodies, but it was already too late. Just as her body was about to enter the lion-grasping king's widely opened mouth. Chwack! At that moment, a huge silver full moon shone in everyone's eyes. Quioioio! Simultaneously, the lion-grasping king's nose bridge was cut off, and someone caught the falling Jin Yurin, flew backwards, and landed on the ground. Seeing this scene, Dam Bekha, the Blood Saint, exclaimed with reddened eyes. The moonless void sword. That sword strike, reminiscent of a full moon, creating a formless blade, was undoubtedly his sword. Pachik Pachik! Jin Yurin, who had overcome the backflowing lightning energy, barely regained consciousness, and her eyes trembled. Although his hair had turned white and his face was full of wrinkles, an old man with intense eyes and the dignity of a scholar was smiling kindly at her. I've finally found you. Jin Yurin hugged the old man tightly and cried out. Elder Chuck. The old man patted her back as if treating a grandchild. Seeing their appearance, He Yokwan, the second Alliance Lord of the Evil Alliance, asked Dam Bekha, the Blood Saint, with a face unable to hide his shock. Was he really alive all this time? Didn't I tell you? I am nothing compared to the elder. The reason He Yokwan was so surprised was simple. The old man holding Jin Yurin. The identity of the old man was Sima Chuk, the Moon Evil Sword, one of the legends of the Old Murim. Chapter 484. The Six Demons. Part 5. Shushushushu. Pupupupuk. Kiak. Huak. The old man with a scholarly appearance shot steel beads using the flicking finger divine technique, instantly piercing the hearts of 5 expert martial artists. A sturdy-looking man clicked his tongue at the sight of them dying painfully. He couldn't help but be amazed at the martial prowess that took the lives of experts at the early stage of the transcendent realm with just a flick of the finger, when he and his 30 guards had struggled to block them. Behind him was a girl with a graceful appearance. The girl's name was Jin A Young, of the Mushang Fortress Jin clan. When Jin A Young recognized the old man, her face brightened, and she ran to hug him. Pack. Grandfather Chuck. Insuk too. The old man, or rather Sima Chuk, shook his head and smiled at her childish behavior. Although he had turned his back on the secular world and wouldn't move even if his son-in-law or daughter called, he often visited Mushang Fortress because this child's face resembled his dead wife so much. Have you come to see me again? This brightly smiling face. She resembled her more than his only daughter, Sima Young. He had thought he might only see her again in the afterlife, but this child warmed a corner of his heart. Meanwhile, Sima Chuk patted her back so she couldn't see, while warning the head of the guards with a cold gaze. You said your name was Hayun? Why yes, elder. Can you protect this child with just that level of skill? At Sima Chuk's rebuke, Hayun hurriedly knelt on one knee, made a fist and palm salute, and apologized. I'm sorry, elder. I don't need empty apologies. Pack. With this, Sima Chuk took something out from his bosom and flicked it with his finger. What was embedded about 1/3 into the ground was none other than a piece of paper. The paper was densely filled with writing. It was none other than martial arts verses. This is. Sima Chuk snorted and said to Hayun, whose eyes had widened. If you don't master it properly and fail to protect this child, I'll break your legs and make sure you can never walk again. At this warning, Hayun's eyes reddened. It was because of his gratitude towards the elder who not only rebuked him but also filled in his lacking areas whenever they met. 8 years later. Wah wah. One of Sima Chuk's eyebrows raised as he saw the baby in Jin A Young's arms, who had come to visit him in the deep mountains where he was staying. Don't tell me it's your child? Yes. Isn't it cute? Ho ho ho. A child has given birth to a child. There you go again. I'm not a child anymore. Wah wah. Oh. Yes. Mommy's right here. Jin A Young smiled brightly as she soothed the crying baby with peekaboo. Seeing this, Sima Chuk's heart ached once again. It was because he was reminded of his dead wife holding their only daughter, Sima Young, looking happy. Even after many years, that memory hadn't faded from his mind. Sima Chuck, who had been lost in memories, casually glanced at Ha Yun, who was standing stiffly behind Jin Young. After observing him, who was sweating and extremely tense, Sima Chuck snorted and said, "You've finally become somewhat useful." Elder. Ha Yun was overjoyed at Sima Chuck's words. How hard had he trained to gain his recognition? It felt like he had received a reward for those words. Sima Chuck looked at the baby in Jin Young's arms and asked, "What's the baby's name?" "It's Youngin. Jin Youngin. Isn't it pretty? Fortunately, it takes after its mother rather than its father. Right? Hee hee." While patting Jin Young's head, Sima Chuck said to Ha Yun, "You have more to protect now." "I will certainly do it, Elder." Kung. Ha Yun pounded his chest hard, showing his determination. 30 years passed since then. An event that should never have happened in the martial arts world occurred. It was the day of the great calamity. Despite the urging of his son-in-law and daughter that he might not be able to remain in this world due to the natural order, he hadn't gone to the fuse. He no longer had great attachment or obsession with life. His only joy was to see that child who resembled his dead wife until the day his life ended. But now, that child lay dead before his eyes. Kuyu. He was overcome with indescribable anger. He had gone to look for her, feeling uneasy about the evil spirits that had pushed their way to his dwelling. But it was already too late. Around were countless corpses of evil spirits, and in front of them was Ha Yun, with only his head and torso remaining, his arms and legs torn off by them. Sima Chuck could tell just from the surrounding traces. Ha Yun had desperately sacrificed himself trying to protect her. That's why Jin Young's body was relatively intact. Sumal Sumyu. Sima Chuck, who had gained some understanding of the world's principles through long periods of seclusion and training, discovered a vengeful spirit shedding bloody tears in front of her. It was Ha Yun, who had become a vengeful spirit. I couldn't protect her. In the end, I couldn't protect her. So deeply regretful, he was mutilating and harming his own spirit body that had become a vengeful spirit. Seeing this, Sima Chuck's anger subsided instantly, and he looked up at the dark sky without a single cloud, shedding sorrowful tears. Sima Chuck, the Moon Evil Sword, who was called a legend of the old Murim. He recognized her at a glance. Jin Yurin, Jin Youngin's child. Although he had never found that child, seeing her spitting image of Jin Young, he uttered words that came from deep within. "I've finally found you." Jin Yurin hugged Sima Chuck tightly and cried out, "Elder Chuck." Sima Chuck gently patted her back. It was sympathy for this child who had lost everything and endured alone until now. Then Sima Chuck noticed something and said, looking down at her in his arms, "First, we need to deal with that." Kwaong. The lion-grasping king, one of the 6 demons, whose nose bridge had been cut by the moonless void sword strike, was roaring in anger and charging towards them again. Sima Chuck's eyes sharpened, and as he raised a sword finger, 3 formless swords formed around him. Yuang. Jin Yurin, who had been exclaiming at the sight of the enormous formless swords, gripped her sword hilt straight. Sima Chuck asked her, "Can you do it?" Of course. The backflowing lightning energy had stabilized and left her body as Sima Chuck patted her back. With this, Jin Yurin raised her sword. At that moment, pachichichichichik. Thunder and lightning struck from the cloud-covered sky, enveloping her sword. It was the thunder-splitting heavenly concealed, which could be called the secret technique of the heavenly concealed. Jin Yurin stabbed her sword into the ground. Kwang. Pachichichichichik. Lightning energy flowed along the ground, and blue flames in the shape of roots shot up in all directions. In that state, she pulled back her sword and then thrust it forward strongly. Thunder-splitting heavenly concealed, divine path swordsmanship, life-death sword technique, true chasing and turning sword. Pachichichichichik. Quack-quack-quack-quack-quack-wing. From the lightning-wrapped sword tip, a sword force enveloped in lightning energy swirled, becoming a huge storm of lightning that extended forward. Seeing her sword strike, Simachuk's eyes widened. I wondered, but did they break the promise and pass it on? This was clearly the heavenly concealed, which could be called an immortal technique. Apart from being unable to learn it, he knew it wasn't supposed to be passed down to later generations because it couldn't be transmitted, so he was inwardly surprised to see Jin Yurin using it. However, that wasn't important right now. Simachuk unleashed his sword technique with the 3 formless swords, matching her true chasing and turning sword. Moonless Void Sword Moon Dance Ultimate Realm. Chwak 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 chwak. The 3 formless swords flew through the sky, intersecting and then rushing towards the lion-grasping king, tracing beautiful trajectories. It was truly a spectacle that one couldn't take their eyes off. Yuduk. Mok Gon's face twisted terribly at this unexpected development. He had been extremely cautious. That's why he had created this grand scheme, learning from the failures of past great crises and calamities that had befallen the Central Plains martial arts world, which he had observed for a long time. It should have been perfect. He had intended to lead everything to destruction with an overwhelming disaster that even the combined forces of the Central Plains martial arts world couldn't handle, but what on earth was happening? Not only the great strength King Ox Demon King, who was called the strongest among the 6 demons and whose power even the ancient immortals feared, but also the white great Ping Demon King who had turned the North Sea into a sea of blood, and the lion-grasping king, the beast of destruction, had been mobilized. Each one was a natural disaster capable of destroying a country, but instead of overwhelming slaughter, a fierce standoff was continuing. Quack. Mok Gon's angry third eye turned towards the confrontation between the 2 6 demons shaking the earth. Indeed, the appearance of that one was the biggest factor. The 100-faced King Golden Nine-Tailed Fox. The only one among the 6 demons that wasn't sealed, reaching the extreme of ominousness by wandering through numerous countries and bringing about destruction. He hadn't thought it would be a hindrance even if he didn't deliberately draw it in. But it was a completely unexpected result that it would side with the humans. Quack 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 quang. Moreover, perhaps because it was the only one not sealed, its current capacity was even comparable to the Great Strength King. It was the worst variable that it could match the Great Strength King, who was known to be unbeatable one-on-one except for that monster monkey who had disappeared beyond the natural order. No. At this rate, small variables become hope for the enemies, and that hope breathes morale into them. If left alone, a real reversal could happen. With this, Mok Gon raised his red jade staff. Yuang. As the red jade emitted an intense light, the countless evil spirits that had momentarily stopped their advance moved forward at a faster speed than before. At this point, the only option was to push forward with overwhelming numbers. If even one of the 6 demons could break the balance and join in, the situation would change. Even the Golden Nine-Tailed Fox couldn't handle 2 of the 6 demons alone. Kuoyoyo. Kuuu. Keek 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 keek. Know that there is not even a glimmer of hope. Yururururu. But his 3 eyes, which had been dispersed among the 6 demons, saw the Righteous Alliance, Evil Alliance, and former Heaven and Earth Society warriors gathering in front of the 10,000 great mountains. Wah wah. The sight of the 3 major forces, which seemed like they would never unite, forming battle lines to face a common enemy and shouting with overflowing determination, provoked anger in Mok Gon. These bastards. This wasn't what he had expected. He had imagined humans paralyzed with fear and terror of death in the face of a disaster akin to a natural calamity. However, not one of them was showing such an appearance. Rather, their morale was soaring sky-high at the sight of their allies opposing the 6 demons. And at the center of the forefront was Mok Jiangun. You. Why are you? That wasn't where he was supposed to be. The incarnation of the abandoned Demon King. You, who should be everyone's enemy, why are you leading the humans there? You are. Humchit. At that moment, Mok Gon felt a chill down his spine. An overwhelming pressure that instantly cooled his rising anger. Mok Gon's forehead was instantly covered in cold sweat. His complexion turning pale, Mok Gon's lips trembled as he spoke with difficulty. Wait, it's not over yet. Your role ends here. Joke. Along with the majestic voice echoing in his head, at that moment, the thick dark clouds split in half, and the sky that had been filled with darkness opened up. An intense light brilliantly illuminated the earth. It was like the creation of heaven and earth itself.